Hi everyone, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today on my blog I said that I would show you how I make my little mini CD calendars. Now, I don't keep one for myself. I usually either sell them all or give them away as gifts. These make great stocking stuffers. As I said in my blog, I discovered these when I was buying some supplies from a lady off of Craigslist, some stamping supplies. I wasn't a demonstrator yet, so I had just started going to some classes and was trying to find things on, at that time, Craigslist. I don't go there anymore, but and she had some supplies and she had this sitting on her counter, and I asked her about it and I just kind of fell in love with it. Later I did become a demonstrator, and we actually did one of these in one of our meetings. So, but before that happened, I created my own template. Excuse me. So this is just a sample of one that I did from 2018, and every month has a different seasonal design. I think this is actually the one that we did in our class. Mine are a little bit more, shall we say, involved. Yep, this is the one we did in our class, so this was in 2018. And these are very simple designs. Very easy to make because we did these like a couple hours. And I might just steal some of these designs. This is actually DSP, or pattern paper. And then I have done design using that. And I'm going to grab one of my older designs, or one I did from a couple years ago, just to kind of show you the difference. So these are the ones that I have done. These are from 2023. It was one, I'm pretty much guessing that this is one that I had made some boo-boos on, which is why I still have it. So anyway, like this one, I've done some embossing on it. It's got like a wood grain embossing on the back. And this one has like some teardrops. This is like not only stamping but die cut pieces. This is stamping. I'm trying to get simpler as time goes on because I have one customer, and though this may look simple, it's got like all these different colors in it, so it takes a lot more stamping. And I have one lady, a repeat customer, who orders 35 of these to give away as gifts. So this one's got some little embossing on it too. So like I said, I'm trying to make them more simple as the years go by, but sometimes I do a lot of die cutting. I'm trying to get away from coloring now that I'm selling more of these as pre-orders, because it takes a lot of time to color everything. And right now I've got a design in my head for December for 2026. So anyway, try to get that out of the way. So this is what I start with. I started creating this template, well, 10 years ago now. Because I think my first ones were 2015, yep. So I've been doing this for 10 years. And I used to sell them at craft fairs, but I don't participate in craft fairs anymore because of my chronic fatigue. I'm not able to withstand those long days or all the work it involves in setting it up and tearing it down and all that stuff. So anyway, these are my templates. So these are available on Etsy, and you'll find the link in my blog, and I'll also post it below my video in the description. So I create this template in Word and sell it as a PDF on Etsy. So I print these out. There's 4 months to a sheet. And then I cut them out individually. So, got my paper trimmer upside down here. And the cases, I have gotten from Case Calendar, I think it's called, in the past. This year, through some unforeseen circumstances, I have an abundance of these. So if you're interested, I also have a link to buying some of these off of my Etsy website. So they are a little ruler here. So they are just a little over 3 3/4 wide, and 3 7/8 high. So my templates are 3.5 by 3 3/4, and then they will fit in the case. If you only have a few, this kind of paper trimmer is great. Last year, after cutting several of these, because like, okay, 30, I'm not good with math, but multiply 35 times 3, that's over 100 sheets, and that's my minimum. My lady with that orders that many, so I have to make several cuts for each sheet. So I do these little lines on here as guidelines for cutting. So this is about 3/4 of an inch from the edge here. I cut that. And what I actually used to do, I'll show you in a minute, but and then this is a 1/2 inch. So last year I bought a Carl trimmer where I can cut more than one sheet at a time, because just doing that is time consuming. And I always considered making these a labor of love, because I would never, nobody would want to pay what I would charge if I added my labor into them. So then I cut down the guidelines, and there we have one sheet of 4 months cut. And then what I would do is, when I'm cutting these, I separate them into piles, like piles for January, February, and sometimes I need to fine tune these. And I have this little trimmer, if you can find it, that Stampin' Up! Sold a few years ago. And so when I'm doing them, and if one of them needs a little fine tuning, I just take this little guillotine trimmer and cut it off. So anyway, I separate these in piles by the month. Now what I was going to mention is that when I cut these, I used to be able to, for some reason they're smaller this year, save these pieces. I must have adjusted some sizes here. Let me check. Maybe I made these a little bit too high this year. No, they fit perfectly. So I think I must have increased the number of lines in here to make it a little bit bigger for the design. I used to be able to save these pieces because they were actually 3.5, I think, inches, and practice my designs on them. But you still could just make it 3.5 wide, and then the pattern space for the design that you're going to stamp is 2 inches. So you can just practice your design. Oh, I guess that isn't right. I got the dimensions off in my head. Well, 3.5. I must have cut wrong. Yep, I did. 3.5. And then I scored at like 2 inches because that's my design space. So I'll save these and practice my design before I actually start doing the calendars. So I trim all these up and stack them by months. And like I said, if you're only doing a few, this is great. Use your paper trimmer like this. If you have a guillotine one, use that. I did have a paper trimmer, I think it was by Fiskars, that had the roller blade and the guillotine, but it still would not cut enough sheets for me. So I invested in the Carl one, and I'll try and find that link and post it on my blog and my description here. Let me just finish these up. And then I've got 1 year done, so, and I try to line this up, the black line right in here, cut it down. And another thing that I use when I do my stamping for this is I still have the Stamparatus that Stampin' Up! Made. And I know there's several out there. They don't make them anymore because of some copyright infringement. To be honest with you, I have never found one that I like as well. And I had a couple other stamping, whatever you call them, tools to do repetitive stamping. So I love my Stamparatus, and when I bought it, sometimes you can find these on Facebook or on in Marketplace. As you can see, I just use it. The sheets are dirty. But I just did some calendar. So anyway, we can get a clean sheet out here. They don't sell the pads anymore because they don't sell the equipment anymore. But you can just cut down your a piece of paper, grid paper. You're going to want grid paper. And this does have a grid on it. But I usually will put place my stamp my calendar right about here, and then stamp my pattern. So and they also sold extra plates. So I actually have 4 plates. So I love this because I can stamp one color on this, flip it around, stamp another color on that, do another color here, flip it around, do another color here. And there was actually 1 year where I wished I had just the 2 plates, and I thought, golly, I wish I had more plates, because I had several colors that year. And this will just stamp things up repetitively in the same space, as long as you don't remove your cardstock. I will not get rid of this tool. Like I said, I've seen people selling them on eBay and Facebook, but some of them are reasonable, some of them are not. So there are my finished stamps, and I got something on that one. So that will be, it must have been from my paper. Anyway, we'll be reprinting that. So then I do my stamping I use my Stamparatus. I am trying to get away from coloring. When you do some of this, I don't know if you can see, I've done blending on the back of here. And there's some little embellishments on there that are snowflakes. But I'm trying to get away from coloring. I'm just trying to do stamping because when you're coloring at least 35 of these, it takes quite a while. And I use the watercolor pencils. I don't use, I guess I did use the Stampin' Blend on here because you can see on the back. And then also, when we did the ones in class, our leader had these little stamps, and no, I don't, here they are. And I love these, and I had to search a hard time for them. They were called Itty Bitty Stamps by Stampin' Up. And I'll just show you. I'm just showing you my whole process here, I guess. I hope you're not too bored. But anyway, they have all these little stamps. So what I will do is, since December is already messed up, this probably doesn't have any ink on it. But this has got like a little tree on one side and a wreath or a flower on the other. So on the holidays, I'll stamp they're already in bold, all the U.S. holidays. And they're in bold, and I'll stamp a little design on top of it. So I had a hard time finding this. I finally found it off the eBay. And I just think it adds a little bit to the calendars. I do like all the U.S. holidays. I did get in trouble one year. So here's got Valentine's Day and President's Day and Martin Luther King Day. And I try to stay in the same color theme. St. Patrick's Day. So I just think it makes them a little bit more fun. I was going to say, I did get in trouble with one lady over my template one year. She left me a bad review because I do this with the U.S. holidays. Well, she downloaded it, the PDF, and she was from Australia and couldn't edit it. So she was very upset. So I actually just went and did a customized version of the template for her. So anyway, that's pretty much my process, I guess. The next step will be, and the hardest step for me, is to come up with the designs. Every year I try to come up with a different design for each month. This year I might do the best of the last 10 years. I haven't decided yet, but I have already decided on a design for December. That's usually my hardest part. So if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, cottageLaneStamper.com. I'll put that down here at the bottom. And like and share this. I love the algorithms. I don't have a Stampin' Up! Website anymore, but you can still select me as a demonstrator if you choose to do that. Just go into Stampin' Up!, search for my name, Sharon Brennan, and then you can shop with me that way if you wish. If I have extra calendars, I'll sell them on Etsy. Otherwise, if you want to do this yourself, you're welcome to buy my template and the cases. And I guess that's about it. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. And my blog is cottagelanestamper.blogspot.com. I'll put that down at the bottom here. And it'll be in the description under in the video too. So I think that's it. Can't think of anything else except for, oh, let me grab the Carl cutter and I'll show that to you real quick in case you're interested. It's pretty big. Carl is spelled K-A-R-L-E, and I like it. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit so I can show you the bottom of it. Move it over. It has a lock on the bottom right here, and you put your cardstock in. You just grab a piece here. This unlocks this plate, and you push this lever down, and you just rock and roll. So it works really slick. There are US measurements. It shows where to cut for if you do scrapbooking, and I've just started doing some of that. Photo size 5x7, 4x6, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10. Let's see. Letter 8x10, 8x10, different letter sizes. So it goes all the way up to 12 inches. And it has this magnetic plate to hold things down for you too. So I'm not sure if it has the model number on here, but it also has a storage compartment for extra blades down in the lower left hand corner. Anyway, this has saved me a lot of time just cutting that many calendars. So when you're thinking about 6 cuts per sheet, that's a lot of cuts. It does take a while. Anyway, set that back down, get it out of the way. I think that's it. I think I said that already, but I really think that's it this time. Anyway, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate all my subscribers and especially my customers. Stamping cards and calendars is about the only thing I'm able to do because of my chronic fatigue. So I really have to pace myself, and that's pretty much why I start in August taking pre-orders. So it gives me September and October to do my designs, and then I try to have them ready by November 1st for my customers before they hit the craft sales. Because those usually start around November 4th, hunting day here. Anyway, in Minnesota, hunting day in Minnesota open. Hunting day opener in Minnesota. So, anyway, thanks again for stopping in. And if you have any questions, like I said, shoot me an email. You have a good day, and may God bless you. Bye.